With this comes the time many of you were waiting for. So without any delay, I would request Kalpit sir to take control.
Congratulations to the entire team of ECEL for conducting this event, and congratulations to everyone who has gotten admitted into this prestigious college. It's a great achievement, and I would like to congratulate everyone who's a fresher right now. So coming to the theme of this session, so this is going to be a very introductory talk on startups, entrepreneurship, some based on my own experiences and what I think is appropriate for a first year student. So I think what is lacking today most of all is an understanding of why one should pursue entrepreneurship and what kind of market or what kind of opportunity is good for a student or not. All right. I see a lot of students who are in college who are getting inspired to become entrepreneurs. I don't think there is a lack of that. And there is also not a lack of formal education related to the same because almost every college I know has got some kind of an e-cell. There are some kind of business departments in there, and there's no shortage of all that formal education. But what is lacking is a deeper understanding of business, deeper understanding of markets, especially in India, and a deeper understanding of students themselves, whether this path is right for them or not. So I would personally recommend first year students to spend a lot of time with themselves, spend a lot of time figuring out what kind of things do they enjoy, what kind of things do they like, and try to form a company around that. So speaking about myself, when I started with what would later turn out to become Skill Boost or Acad Boost, I did not know that I'm going to make it a company. I was just doing something I loved. Okay, so I used to be a good student back in school, and I had just started to learn computer science in my first and second year, and I simply enjoyed it. I loved it so much that I started to write blogs and all kind of things online about it, and slowly it started to gain traction. And then we slowly started to release online courses and mentorship sessions, and thus we formed a company out of it. Okay. But what I see today, like students doing a lot, is going the opposite direction. What they do is they decide that they want to make a company, and then they think, what do they want to do? I don't think it works like that. So you need to be really passionate about something. You need to figure out what you're really good at. You need to figure out what's a good market to be in. You need to figure out what's a good timing, and then form. Okay, it has to go from this direction to that. All right, you cannot be like, oh, I want to start a company right now. Maybe I should think of some idea. Like some people do pull that off, but I'm not sure how recommended that is. All right. So that was first thing which I wanted to emphasize on, that students should really try to figure out what's their calling, what markets are they interested in, or what's simply their hobby. It could be music, it could be education, it could be finance, whatever. Okay, just figure these things out, try out something, try to write about it somewhere, try to speak about it, try to create audience, and see if it evolves into a company, not the other way around. So that is my first advice, which is usually some considered unconventional by many, but I think that works out really well. My second piece of advice to everyone who's in college is that you should try to do things which are a bit different from what we are used to. So what I mean by this is once someone enters college, then usually like I've seen a lot of smart people get involved in too much into the traditional college system. Like they go to college, and the only thing they're worried about is we'll get good grades and we will get a good job, and we will do well in our placements and club positions and all of that. Now these are really good things. These are not bad things. These really train you a lot. But if you keep on doing things which everyone else is doing, then you're not going to stand out. All right. And in the world of business, in the world of entrepreneurship, in the world of startups, the only way to stand out, the only way to do good work is by doing something which nobody else is doing. All right. So when I started my blog related to computer science, related to JEE, nobody was doing that. When I started my YouTube channel related to that, again nobody was doing that. When I launched our first courses, again nobody was doing that. When we started launching our Skill Boost subscription, which is basically a product where students or anyone who's interested can learn different kind of skills like coding, machine learning, entrepreneurship, etc. in one single package. Okay, so we take you from the very starting the entire trajectory. We make you learn basic coding, then we make you learn about advanced stuff like software development, machine learning, etc. And then we take you all the way from that to starting your own company. So this is so again, even right now, I don't think I know anyone in India at least who is doing like a complete end-to-end solution of this kind. So you have to do something which is different from others because that's the only place where value exists and that's the only thing you're going to enjoy. So you don't have to necessarily start building something iconic. It doesn't have to be like that. You can start small. All right. So you can start by trying to form new societies, new clubs. I've seen that people who tend to figure out some club in their college which is not existent and then start it. They turn out to be really great leaders. All right. So, for example, is there a cryptocurrency club in our college? Probably not. Then why don't we start it? Why don't we try to contact the authorities? Like, how do we start a cryptocurrency club? These are just some examples I'm trying to give. Maybe it already exists. So to think along these lines that what is something which people need but it does not exist. All right, so this would be my second advice, that you have to do different things. All right, my third piece of advice for anyone who's trying to start a company and is in college is that uh, please try to build the market. Please try to build a marketing or distribution for whatever you're trying to do. And what I mean by this is that I see a lot of people, and I think this is something where Indians are doing really well right now. I see a lot of college students are, starting their own Instagram pages, Twitter handles, YouTube channels, or something of that sort. And while a lot of people dismiss this off as something which is very basic, I don't think so. Okay, because these are some really strong distribution channels along which huge companies can be formed. There are many huge companies. There are many emerging companies which are formed as an extension of these things, and the best place, the best way to do this is in college itself. All right, so please try to build some kind of an audience while you're in college. All right, it will be very useful to you even if you want to get a job, if you want to do something of that sort. Even then a network is going to help you a lot. All right, so these were some of the three key learnings which I wanted to give to college students, which I personally would have liked myself in my first year. So I will like to recapitulate on this. First of all, I would like to say that you have to figure out the why of business. Why do you want to do what you want to do? Why do you want to form a particular company? All right, and it really works out if you are really passionate about something and you try to start something along those lines. My second advice was that you have to do something different. All right, you have to understand what is something which is missing, which others are not capitalizing on, and then start working on that. All right, and third, you have to start building your audience early on. You have to start building distribution channels early on. So one of the things which I got really lucky with was that I had a decent online following in my first and second years, which allowed me to. I remember launching 3 or 4 different kind of attempts at startups. Some of them did really well. One of which is ECADBoost, and some of them did not do that well. But because of that initial traction, I managed to have that capacity to pull those things off. All right, so that is something which I really recommend. To add some bonus points, I would really urge people to try to figure out things which are emerging trends. All right, and I emphasize this a lot, even online, even on my Twitter, even on my YouTube channel called Skill Boost. You can check them off if any of them, if you have not. So one thing which I emphasize a lot on is that you have to see what is going to be on the rise 5 to 10 years from now. Okay, you don't have to necessarily do something which is trending right now. For example, in 2020, one of the biggest areas of innovation, one of the biggest areas of value was edtech. All right, online education and all these kind of things, which even we are using right now. All right, so this thing is big right now. All right, but today, if you want to start another, if you want to start another online class or some kind of software today, then it's probably not going to work out. The period to do that was in 2018 or 19 when this thing was emerging. All right, so right now, for example, I started this thing in 17, 18, and I was able to create value because I started before this thing was big. All right, so I was able to ride the wave. But now it is already on the peak. There are so many competitors. There are so many people trying to do this. So you'll just end up in a competition mindset kind of a thing. All right. So you have to figure out what is going to be big 3, 5, 10 years from now. So some of the areas which I personally believe to be big are, first of all, gaming. the thing about gaming is that a lot of people don't realize the potential it has because it's a very important form of entertainment, but I don't think enough people are doing that right now. Okay. Like from a business point of view, I think it has a lot of value in it. Then we have finance. People in India have like only 4% people in India invest actively in equities. So that's a very small number. And I think it is bound to increase in the coming 5 to 10 years. So that's a very interesting area, which is yet to like if you look at US, you've got a lot of innovation, you've got a lot of financial education over there, but it's absent in India. So I think something can be worked along those direction. Then we have got blockchain, we have got AI. These are some really big areas which are yet to be like people are still not adopting them. So if you look at blockchain technology, it is something which is very useful, which seems to be the future. Okay, and now it depends a lot on things like government regulation and massive adoptions, but those are some interesting technologies to look at, which not a lot of people are working on. So these are some few areas which I believe will be even more important in the next 5 to 10 years. So I really urge students, I really urge people to look into areas, look into the next field where you can generate some value both for yourself, your team members, and for the country. So yeah, this is all I wanted to say. Mostly I talked about four things. I talked about the importance of starting early. I talked about the importance of building an audience. Then you must realize that value is not created today, value is created in the future. So you have to see areas where you will see a growth 5 to 10 years from now, not today. So thank you.
Sir, that was indeed inspirational and thoughtful. So it will give a great insight to the people, to the freshers out there. So thank you for this. So, sir,
Thank you.
we asked the freshers for some questions so that we could have a Q&A session round here. So, I would like to begin with the questions. So, sir,
Sure.
uh, a question from Dipanshu is that being an entrepreneur takes a lot of time, or does it affect our academics in college? If yes, then how can we overcome these hurdles?
All right. May I know the name of the question asker once again?
The question is asked by Dipanshu.
All right. Hi, Dipanshu. So the answer to your question is kind of mixed. So it depends on what kind of a company do you want to build. So there are some people who build something called a lifestyle business, which is basically someone who's managing a not so big company, but he's managing a company big enough that it makes him or her a lot of money, and then they go around with living a luxurious life. So that's one kind of business to do. If you're interested in that, then if you do enough automation, if you do enough, like if you assign tasks to your team members efficiently, then after a while you can make your business very automated and you would not have to work that much. So that does exist. So don't think that entrepreneurship is all about grind. But if you are the kind of person who wants to grow their company big and who wants to create a big business empire, then at that point you really have to work hard. But it does not seem that much hard work to us, because it's our own company, it's like our own baby, and we really want to take care of it actively. All right. So I personally do not mind working because I really love to do what I do, and it's basically for my own growth. So if you are really into your company, then it will not sound like too much hard work, and you will be able to manage. All right. So you will need some extra input from your end, but it's definitely manageable.
I hope that answers Dipanshu's question. And the next question is by Divyanshu. So, what type of a mindset must be built to be a successful entrepreneur?
All right. Hi, Dipanshu. So about the mindset, there are a few qualities which are really important. The first one is the ability to not give up easily, because no matter how big you grow, like you could be earning rupees one, you could be earning rupees 1 crore per day, but you will face problems, and they usually increase in size as your company grows. So I remember back when I was the only one pursuing like the thing, then there were some different kind of problems. All right, there were problems of burning out, there were problems of lack of runway. So all of those things were existent. But now that the team is big, we are at 35 team members right now. Now, at this point, the problems are a bit different. The problems can involve hiring, the problems can involve scaling. So, problems will be different, but they will be there. So you have to figure out a way to not give up. All right. Another quality which I really think should be present in a good entrepreneur is the ability to delegate. All right. So as your team grows, you have to figure out ways in which your business will get automated. All right. Because, so for example, right now we have 64,000 students studying with us across all our business verticals. We have college students studying with us. We have school students studying with us. So when you're managing so many people, it becomes difficult to take care of the software. It becomes difficult to take care of the marketing, take care of the platform itself, take care of the reputation, branding, content. So these are some very big areas which you need to focus on. And if you personally try to do all of those things, then it becomes really exhaustive. And you have to ensure that someone like you have efficient leaders, you have efficient employees who can take care of all of that. So that is one thing which is really important. All right. Another thing is the ability to think really clearly. All right. So when you're running a company, you'll have to make a lot of decisions which are difficult. So you have to learn how to take efficient decisions, how to take decisions which are not going to hurt you personally as a founder and your company as well. And you personally have to create a lot of headspace for yourself as well, because business is all about figuring out the next place of wealth creation. And if you do not give yourself time to think, you will not be able to take out that much time and energy to think along those directions, and you will get stuck in micromanaging things. So yeah, those are mostly the qualities which I feel are really important, and the kind of mindset which you desire. Yeah.
So, sir, the next question is a bit special because we got a number of similar questions. So, I would like you to emphasize a bit on the same. So, the
Sure.
question is that you could easily get a job that will pay you crores, but still you went to choose entrepreneurship. What's so special in entrepreneurship which you seem to miss? So, kindly include the point that being in IIT Bombay, being doing CSE at IIT Bombay, still pursuing entrepreneurship. So, kindly emphasize on the same, sir.
Sure, sure. That's a question which I get quite frequently. I, in fact, made a video on that a few weeks back on my YouTube channel as well. So, the answer to this question is that there's a risk versus return aspect to look at it, and then there's a backup kind of a way to look at it. So, you should never leave your degree in middle unless you're making a lot of revenue. All right. So, I started making the kind of revenue that I could, if I wanted, not focus that much on my degree. But I still was in my final year by that time. I was about to reach the final year, so I thought that okay, this my business is doing well, but I'm about to graduate, so maybe I should focus on my degree as well. And I finished my degree. Okay, but if you look at US, or if you look at people who start very early, some of them even drop out and do all those kind of things. So it really depends on where you are on your business along with your degree. Okay, I personally pursued my degree because I love IIT, I love to be there, and I love my academics there. So it was a bit difficult to manage business and degree together, but somehow I pulled it off. Now answering the question, which is that IIT presents you with a lot of opportunity. See, it depends on where you're getting more output. So if your company is making much more than what your degree is offering, then probably you're going to stick with that, right? But if you are, let's say, if your company is not doing that well, and then you are skipping placements, I think that's not the way to go. All right. So the reason why I chose to skip placements is because my company is doing really well, and I don't have to do a job right now. And I personally enjoy being a founder. I enjoy making businesses. I enjoy doing what I love. And by the time my placements had arrived, I already had a 30-member team. So it's simply not possible to, go do a job in US, which provides me with a lesser opportunity than what I'm doing right now, and then also leave 30 people jobless. That's kind of, that's an idiotic way to go about stuff. So yeah, that was there. But I think the question is more about the mindset and the ability, why did I choose to pursue this when I could have taken a job? I think that's what you're
Yes,
trying
sir.
to emphasize on. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So it was personally, it's all about what you want in your life. All right. So I like, even if you look at my older interviews, when I when I got my J results and all, I spoke there that I want to start my own company. I don't want to work for someone else. So it's all about the mindset. I really wanted to start my own company. I wanted to make big impacts. Even now, I have been planning on starting some new businesses, which I cannot disclose right now. So I just love doing that. All right. I don't care if I make rupee one, if I make rupees 1 crore or whatever. I just love doing this, and that is probably what I'll be doing for quite a lot of period. But somehow the money just comes in as you work hard. So yeah, that's kind of a very gobbled up answer, but I think I've answered most of the points which you have been asking me for. Yeah.
Indeed, sir. Sir, probably most of the doubts will be catered by this. So, sir, another question by Rohit, that what do you feel is one of the most challenging part or skill for an entrepreneur to learn?
All right. So the most challenging skill, there are quite a few. So depends on that. Even that depends on how well you're doing. So once when your company is not doing that well, then I think resilience, like ability to not quit, as I spoke about earlier, I think that's very important. And once your company is doing really well, okay. So I remember this was me in the beginning of this year or so. Like the company was doing really well, and I became a bit, like it's very easy to become complacent once you're doing well, you're making good money, you're progressing with your goals and all that. It becomes very easy to become complacent. So I think the ability to keep your drive alive, that's one thing which you'll need, but at a later stage. Right now I think it's very important to not give up. Okay, trust me, this is going to happen with you. There are people who are going to mock at you, like your own friends will say ki, oh bhai kya kar raha hai, like that will happen a lot. All right, it happens. Even if you think you are the bestest of friends, it will happen a lot. And not because everyone wants to mock at you, because everyone cares about you. Your parents don't want you to lose money, your parents don't want you to be jobless, like all of those things exist. All right, so they do care about you, which is why they will advise you this. But you have to figure out what is good for you. You have to figure out whether quitting the company is good for me or not, or whether should I take a job, whether you should start your own company. You should be very thoughtful, and you should be very critical about thinking about these things. All right. So that's the most important quality, to not give up and to think critically about your decision making, and all that stuff. Yeah.
So, sir, as you just mentioned that it is very that at that particular stage you often just hear an ample amount of comments. So, what will you say about handling negative publicity, negative comments at the same time when you are struggling doing something?
Okay. Yeah. So I've had my share of negative publicity and negative comments, and there are two sides to look at it. First of all negative publicity is not about, or all negative comments are not about people hating on you. Mostly, it's so some of it is feedback, and some of it is just neutral reaction by the public. See, nobody has time. Like for most people, nobody has time to hate on you or to give negative things about you. They are just reacting to what they are seeing. Okay, so if they are saying something negative, and that in a large number, that probably means that that problem does exist. Okay, so you have to be very critical there. You have to think, like, if what people are saying, is it correct or not. You have to be very critical. Okay, because there are certain things that others see which you don't see, and there are certain things that you see which others don't see. So you have to analyze from their point of view why they are making those comments, whether there's something fixable or not. So I remember one time when we got a similar feedback related to one of our products, and it turned out that yeah, we had not thought of that thing. So you have to be really humble here. You have to realize that what people are saying is for your own advantage, and try to fix along those lines. I think this is a good approach to handling criticism and everything. Another thing is that, even see, so negative publicity or negative comments can sometimes be really good for you as well. Okay, not in just terms of your improvement of yourself, but even for marketing. If you look at a lot of products are able to survive only because someone made a meme or a joke on that, and then it went viral, and then people started to adopt it as well. So even that can happen at times. Okay, so my advice is that criticism is very important. It helps you improve yourself, helps you improve your product. Don't try to handle, sorry, don't try to handle it. Okay, just try to accept it in whatever it is, and try to improve it. If you genuinely start improving your products, or whatever the criticism is about, and this applies not just to companies, it applies to yourself as well. and if you genuinely work on it, it will start to decrease. Okay, so when our product was launched back in December 2019 or so, it was criticized by quite a lot of people, but now not so much. So yeah, that's the answer to your question.
So the last question, many a times dreams of entrepreneurship are overshadowed by the attractiveness of placements. So how can one be focused by trying to keep both the ends open, placements and entrepreneurship?
Okay, so the first thing to do this, like the first approach is to not drop out. Okay, I think it has become really cool to drop out these days, and it is justified in some cases. But in India, I'm not sure how many people get respected if they are dropouts. I'm not saying they are not good people. I met a lot of brilliant dropouts, but that's just not the way how society functions. Like you cannot expect to drop out and then get a job at Google or whatever. It simply doesn't happen. Okay, I'm not questioning whether it's right or not, but it simply doesn't happen. All right, so it might take a bit of time for people to understand those things, but right now, no. Okay, so don't drop out. Don't try to become cool and say, "Ki, oh, I will drop out." See, if I wanted, I could have dropped out in my third year, and I still would have been doing great. But I did not because I understand that getting a degree is really valuable, especially if you're from a good institute like Triple ITM or IIT. So these are some really prestigious institutes. Okay, so do get a degree. That's my first point. Okay, it will teach you a lot of things. It will be really useful for you. Okay, my second point would be that don't ignore placements. Okay, a lot of people have this ideology that business is very cool, entrepreneurship is very cool until they start their own company. Okay, once you step into the water, you will realize how muddy it is, and it's not all roses and like it's not all rosy. Okay, there are fair share of problems, and a lot of people are simply not made for entrepreneurship. Okay, you are better off at a job because of the way you are designed. Okay, so don't fall for what people are saying ki entrepreneurship is cool, ye ho jata hai. Like don't watch movies and then think that it is good for you. It might be good for you, but probably it is not. Okay, so jobs are a good option for the vast majority of people. Don't think we are doing a lesser thing by doing a job. Okay, I know a lot of smart people who are working in great companies building great stuff, and they are not less or any less than anyone else. So don't have this mindset that sorry, don't have this mindset that entrepreneurship is something great. Okay, and have a backup as placements and try to build your company on the side. If it works out, great. Otherwise, you can always go for the placement. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. Sir, I got a question in the live chats just now, and it's a great question. So if you could just entertain us with it. So the question is by Gurpreet Singh that let's say if I have an idea, what will be the different ways I can bring investors to invest in it? And if I don't have any prior knowledge of marketing, how can I market my product effectively?
Okay, that's actually a brilliant question, and that should have been the first question. But I'll go about it. So your question is, you have an idea, you don't know anything how to do.
Yeah.
That's what you're asking, right?
Yes, sir.
So the first step is to validate your idea. Okay, so you have to go out and ask real people that I have this idea. What do you think of this? Okay, this will do two things. First of all, if it's a BS idea, they will tell you that it's a BS idea. Don't do it, bro. You don't have to take it personally, but it might actually be a BS idea. Okay, or it might even be a brilliant idea because no one can think of it. So both things are possible. So you have to actually talk to people and see what they're thinking. Now think very critically, try to analyze that what they're saying, is it applicable or not? Okay, is it applicable, or what they're saying, is it justified? What changes can you make in your idea based on what they've said? And try to come up with better idea, or try to shape it in a different way. Okay, and this was actually how even we started off. So this is something which you must do, that go and talk to real people. Don't conduct calls, don't conduct meetings. No, go out and actually talk to them. Now that's actually kind of not possible right now, but try to improvise upon that a bit and try to talk to real users. Okay, second thing is that as soon as you realize that okay, this is something which I'm really interested in and I want to do something, try to create an audience in that area. Trust me, even if your product is stupid, it doesn't work. If you have a good audience, you can always make money. All right, so if you figure out कि भाई मुझे finance में बहुत interest है and I want to do something in finance, I want to do something in stock market. So in my example, I wanted to do something in education. I wanted to do something in computer science. I was sure of it. So I started creating online content back in 2017, and abhi I have like 500k followers or something like that on all my social media. So it really helps a lot. So the first thing is to realize that yaar, I want to do in something in this area. I want to do something related to this particular idea, and then start building an audience. It doesn't have to be about that particular thing itself. It could be anything related, but if you have a sizable audience, just say for example, if you want to do a new kind of stock trading tool, okay, and you are ideating, तुम थोड़ा सोच रहे हो कि भाई what should I do, what should I add next, and you are doing this process for 5 6 months, okay, so you know कि you are going to make something related to stock market, something related to trading. Now if on the sidelines for those 5 or 6 months you are also building your own YouTube channel, you are building your own blog, you are building your Twitter handle related to stock trading, then 5 months you can reach 1,000 followers or 5,000 followers. Then understand this: after five months, once you have built a product around your idea, you have an audience of 5,000 people. Even if you manage to sell it to 1% people, you have 50 customers present already. Okay, so you have to work on this. This is super important. Okay, when I launched my first product, I had an audience of more than 250k people. Okay, so even if 1% people adopted those products, it would just blow, right? So that's about the ideation and marketing cycle. I hope it helped. And if you're interested in learning more, I speak a lot about these things on my Twitter, on my YouTube, on Skill Boost YouTube channel. And you're always welcome to take up our Skill Boost subscription, which is our product which we sell for college students, and it contains a lot of business knowledge, a lot of skills, and all that stuff. So yeah, that was the answer to your question.
So thank you, sir. And indeed, for all the viewers, do check out social media handles of Kalpit, sir. And we thank you, sir, for your precious time. You are truly an inspiration. And the entire talk which you did, it will be a head start for many people out there. So
It is a
thank you.
pleasure for me to come here.
Thank you, sir.